Have you ever wondered what secrets lie behind the cold, empty walls of abandoned hospitals? Places once filled with hope and healing, now shrouded in darkness and whispers of the restless dead. Tonight, we take you on a chilling journey through Australia's most haunted hospitals, where spirits linger, screams echo in the night, and shadows move when no one is watching. Are you ready to step inside, if you dare? On Kalen Park Hospital for the Insane, Rozelle, New South Wales. Kalen Park Hospital, opened in 1878, was once one of Australia's largest asylums. Over its decades of operation, it housed thousands of patients, many suffering from illnesses that were poorly understood and often treated with cruelty. The atmosphere of despair permeated the air, and countless stories of suffering and tragedy were born within these walls. One of the most chilling tales involves a female patient who, in utter despair, set herself ablaze in the East Ward. Witnesses who dared to approach the derelict building after dark recount hearing blood-curdling screams echoing through the halls. Screams of pain and anguish that seemed to freeze the blood. They say her fiery apparition still roams the ruins, flickering like a candle struggling against the wind. Staff and visitors also report sudden drops in temperature, cold spots that make the skin crawl, and the eerie sensation of being watched. Some have felt invisible hands tug at their clothing or heard faint whispers just beyond comprehension. At times, lights flicker mysteriously and shadows dart in the corners of their vision, only to vanish when looked at directly. Despite the hospital's abandonment and decay, the restless spirits trapped in its history refuse to rest. Kalen Park remains a place where the past sorrow lingers, a haunting reminder of forgotten pain. 2. Beachworth Asylum, Victoria. Beachworth Asylum, known as Mayday Hills Hospital, opened in 1867 and operated for over a century. Within its imposing stone walls, thousands of mentally ill patients were confined, often under brutal conditions. Many were forgotten, left to suffer in silence. Ghost hunters visiting the site report hearing agonized screams that echo in the dead of night, screams that pierce the cold, silent air. The Red Lady is the most notorious spirit here, a woman said to have suffered terrible abuse and whose blood-stained dress now haunts the chapel ruins. Witnesses have described seeing a figure in tattered red robes wandering the grounds, her face contorted in pain, her presence chilling the air around her. The asylum cemetery, filled with unmarked graves, adds a grim weight to the place. Visitors feel a heavy sorrow, as if the land itself remembers every lost soul. Shadows flit by windows, lights flicker unexpectedly, and cold spots leave chills that no clothing can ward off. The stories of cruelty, despair, and death are carved into the very stone of Beachworth, a dark legacy that refuses to fade. 4th, Gladesville Mental Hospital, New South Wales. Gladesville Mental Hospital was Australia's largest psychiatric institution, operating from 1838 until 1999. Over its 160 years, the hospital was a place of suffering, where thousands endured treatments that would now be considered cruel and inhumane. Visitors often report hearing disembodied laughter that echoes through empty corridors, sudden drops in temperature, and glimpses of shadowy figures watching from the corners of their eyes. Many have experienced a profound sense of dread, as if unseen eyes are following their every move. One of the most terrifying stories revolves around a locked ward used to confine patients deemed dangerous. Witnesses recount hearing agonized screams and pounding on doors from inside. Yet when staff arrive to investigate, no one is found behind the heavy locked doors. Some say the tortured souls trapped there never left. Despite its closure, Gladesville remains a place where the past's horrors cling to the walls, and the spirits of those who suffered continue to haunt the grounds. 5. Kenmore Hospital, Queensland. Kenmore Hospital, built in the 1930s, served as a psychiatric hospital until its closure in the late 1990s. Known for its strict regime and harsh treatments, many patients reportedly suffered emotional and physical trauma. Paranormal investigators report frequent EVP, electronic voice phenomena, sessions where voices whispered names, cries for help, and even disturbing threats. The infamous Shadow Man is said to lurk in the hospital's basement, a dark silhouette with glowing eyes that disappears when confronted. Staff and trespassers also experience sudden, unexplained noises, footsteps echoing in empty halls, doors creaking open by themselves, and cold drafts that seem to come from nowhere. Some have even reported seeing ghostly figures seated quietly in abandoned rooms, staring silently before vanishing. Kenmore's haunted reputation keeps the curious and the brave away after sunset, as those who venture inside often return with stories of terror and unease. 6. J Ward, Ararat, Victoria. J Ward was originally a prison before being converted into a mental hospital for the criminally insane in the early 20th century. It housed some of the most violent and disturbed patients in Australia. Visitors to J Ward report an overwhelming feeling of unease. The atmosphere is thick with fear and despair. The screams of former inmates seem to seep from the walls, and shadowy figures have been seen pacing behind barred windows. One of the most persistent legends is about the Gray Lady, believed to be the spirit of a nurse who cared for patients but died under mysterious circumstances. She reportedly appears at night, her figure shrouded in mist, silently walking the corridors, sometimes reaching out as if trying to comfort the lost souls. The haunting is so intense that many who enter feel an oppressive weight on their chest, as if the building itself is trying to crush their spirit. J Ward is a place where the line between life and death blurs in terrifying ways. 7. Lachland Park Hospital, New South Wales. Lachland Park Hospital, built in the early 1900s, was a psychiatric hospital notorious for its overcrowded wards and harsh treatments. Many patients were admitted indefinitely, often forgotten by their families. The hospital's grim reputation is steeped in stories of neglect, abuse, and untimely deaths. Visitors report hearing faint cries echoing through the abandoned halls, whispers of forgotten souls trapped in limbo. Some have seen ghostly figures in outdated hospital gowns wandering the corridors, their faces gaunt and eyes hollow, as if searching for a release that never comes. One chilling tale tells of a patient who died mysteriously in Ward 7. Staff claim to have seen a shadowy figure standing motionless at the end of the hallway, only to vanish when approached. Equipment sometimes activates on its own, and the oppressive atmosphere leaves visitors feeling drained, as if the building itself feeds on despair. 9. Ararat Mental Hospital, Victoria. Ararat Mental Hospital was known for its strict rules and harsh methods. Overcrowding and inadequate care led to many tragic deaths. Visitors report hearing ghostly footsteps pacing the halls, and sometimes the distant, haunting melody of a piano that no one is playing. Apparitions of former patients have been spotted staring silently from windows or disappearing suddenly around corners. A particularly unsettling story tells of a former doctor who conducted cruel experiments. His presence is felt as a cold, malevolent force that causes electronic devices to malfunction and makes the air feel suffocatingly thick. The hospital's isolation, combined with its dark history, makes it one of Australia's most notorious haunted locations. 10th, Ballarat Asylum, Victoria. Ballarat Asylum operated from the late 19th century, housing thousands of patients during its time. Its reputation for mistreatment and neglect has spawned many ghost stories. Visitors often describe feeling overwhelming sadness and despair. Apparitions of children, once patients, have been reported playing silently in the abandoned playground. One of the most famous legends involves a nurse who died tragically after a patient attacked her. Witnesses say her spirit lingers, often appearing to those who walk the hospital grounds alone at night. Strange noises, cold drafts, and sudden drops in temperature are common experiences here. The asylum's dark past seems to permeate every corner, trapping the sorrowful souls inside forever.